Hello, this is Mrs. Ross, and this is Cumulative Tests 14A review. Highly recommend that you write these steps down in your spiral so you can use them on the test. Let's go ahead and get started. So it says Pedro raced 96 kilometers from Perry to Medford and then idled back. If the round trip took 8 hours, what was Pedro's average speed in kilometers per hour? So the problem tells us what it wants. It wants kilometers. That's our per line, hour. We're going to put our kilometers here on the top, 96. We're going to put our hours here on the bottom, 8. And we're going to divide. So 8 goes into 96, I believe 12 times. So we have 12 kilometers per hour. I'm just going to double check because 8. Yeah, I'm right. Okay. So that's our answer. Let me change colors. All right, the ratio of dogs to cats in the neighborhood was 3 to 7. If a total of 210 dogs and cats were in the neighborhood, how many cats were there? So this tells us that we need a ratio box with a total, okay? My ratio box looks more like a parallelogram, but that's okay. So we have dogs, cats, and total. Dogs, cats, total. I have ratio and actual. It says the ratio of dogs to cats was 3 to 7. So if I add that, I get 10. It says we have a total of 210 dogs and cats, and then I'm looking for how many cats. Okay, so let me change colors here. So this is going to give me proportion. So I have 7 over 10 is equal to x over 210. And now I can cross multiply. So with this one, we're doing the ratio box, proportion, cross multiply. I'm going to cross multiply 7 times. Oh, I lost my cursor. Sorry. 7 times 210 equals, and then 10 times x. So let's see, 7 times 210, let me put that in here, 7 times 10. So I get 1470 is equal to 10x, divide by 10, divide by 10. X is equal to 147. That is my answer. Okay, we did one of these in our STAR problems. And I told you there was going to be one on a test, and here it is. So it says, using a tape measure, Becky Jo found the circumference of the redwood was 900 centimeters. She estimated the diameter was 300 centimeters. Was this estimate too large or too small? Okay, so when she estimated this, what she did was she said, okay, the circumference is pi times diameter. I know that the circumference is 900. She's going, pi is 3, and so I'll just do 300. So her, this is her estimate. Her diameter is equal to 300 is the estimate. What we're going to do is we're going to plug in 3.14 for pi. So I have 900 for my circumference. I'm going to plug in 3.14 for pi, and I'm going to find my diameter. So I'm going to divide by 3.14. So this is going to cancel. My diameter comes down. My equals comes down. 900 divided by 3.14 is 286 and some change. 6.624, blah, blah, blah. So the actual diameter is this is my actual. And this is my estimate. So the estimate was a little too large. And you can say this was for any number of reasons. Because she used 3 instead of 3.14 for pi. That works. Let's see. Okay, I just wanted to change the color. Number 4 says pistachios were priced at 3 pounds for $6.99. A says, what is the price per pound? So A wants to know the dollars or price per pound. So I'm going to put my pounds here in the bottom, 3. I'm going to put my price here at the top, $6.99, and I'm going to divide. So $6.99 divided by 3 gives me $2.33 per pound. That's A. Okay, B says, how much would 10 pounds cost? So if it's $2.33 per pound, $2.33 per pound, then I'm going to multiply that by 10 pounds, my pounds cancel, to get $23.30 for 10 pounds. Okay? All right, number 5. Let me do a different color here. Okay. If the product, so I'm multiplying something, of 6/10, so I'm going to go ahead and do this as a decimal. So 6/10 and 3/10, so I'm multiplying 6/10 and 3/10. That's the product. If this is subtracted from the sum, so that's addition, I have 2/10 plus 4/10. 4/10, 2/10. What is the difference? So this is the sum. So let's go ahead and multiply this. 0.6 times 0.3 is 0.18. And then I have 0.2 plus 0.4, which is 0.6. And it asks for the product is subtracted from the sum. So we're going to do 0.60 minus 0.18. And I get 0.42 as my answer. Okay, let's change colors here. 3/5 of the baker's 60 cookies were chocolate. So let me go ahead and diagram this like it says. Okay, so 3/5 were chocolate. They were 60 total cookies. So I know 60 divided by 5 gives me 12. 12, 12, 12, 12. So it says, how many of the baker's cookies were chocolate? Well, 3/5 were chocolate, so 3 times 12, which is 36. And then it says, how many were not chocolate? I can take the 60 and I can subtract and get 24, or I can do 2 times 12 and get 24. So that's my answer. All right, a cube has how many vertices? Vertices is a fancy word for corners. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We know there's one back here, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the answer is 8. And then it asks for volume, which is length times width times height, which is going to be 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27 feet cubed. Okay, let's change colors. And we're going to find the circumference of each circle. So I'm going to go ahead and write circumference is either 2 pi r or pi d. On this first one, it says leave pi as pi, and my radius is 11. So I'm going to use the 2 pi r. So I have 2 times pi, which I'm leaving as pi, times 11. So I'm leaving pi as pi, so I can do 2 times 11, which is 22. And then we just leave pi there. Okay. And then for b, I'm going to use the pi d formula for circumference. And it wants me to use the fractions. So I have 22 over 7 times the diameter, which is 280 over 1. If I multiply that out, let's see, 22 times 280. And then 7 times 1 is 7. And then I divide that. I get 880 millimeters. Write each of these numbers in scientific notation because they are currently not in scientific notation. Let me change colors here. Let's do green. So I need to move the decimal from here, oops, to there. So I have 1.1 times 10 to the 1 times 10 to the negative 7. I'm going to add these. I get 1.1 times 10 to the negative 6 as my answer. Here I'm moving it the same direction. I have 1.1 times 10 to the 1 times 10 to the 7. I'm going to add these. 1.1 times 10 to the 8. Okay, let's move on to number 10. Let me get another color. Okay, and this says, what is the area of the right triangle? Okay, so you might think that's this, but that's not part of a triangle. Well, that's part of this triangle, but that's not a right triangle. Here is your right triangle. Okay, and it's asking what the area of this triangle is. So we know that an area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, or base times height over 2. So here we have, and we know base and height have to make a 90-degree angle. Doesn't have to be a right triangle, but base and height have to make a 90-degree angle. So our base is going to be 40, our height is going to be 30. So I have 40 times 30 over 2, which is 1200, over 2, which is 600 millimeters squared. Okay, and then I'm going to erase that, and we're going to talk about the area of the isosceles triangle. Okay, let me get a different color. So the isosceles triangle, isosceles means that two sides are the same, and this is the isosceles triangle. Okay, because this side is 50 and this side is 50, and it's asking for the area. So again, our area is 1/2 base times height, or base times height over 2. But our base and height have to make that 90-degree angle. So my height is 30 still, and my base is 50 because it makes that 90-degree angle there. So we have 50 times 30 over 2, which is over 2, which is 750 millimeters squared. All right, number 12, evaluate a times b minus, parentheses, a minus b. Okay, so let's plug in what we have. We have 0.5 times 0.4 minus 0.5 minus 0.4. Okay, so if I grab my calculator, 0.5 times 0.4 is 0.2. Minus 0.5 minus 0.4 is 0.1. So 0.2 minus 0.1 is 0.1. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here, and I'll make the rest of the video, the 13 through 20, in a different video. Let me know if you have any questions up to number 12. I wonder if I can do 13. I'll go ahead and do 13. What number is 25% of 1200? I wonder, what you can do is you can make this into a decimal so that it's 25% or 25 per 100, which is 0.25, and we know that of is times. So we're going to do 0.25 times 1200, which I believe is 300, but I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah, okay, that's 300. So when we come back in part 2, we'll start on 14.